2025 promises to bring some major changes in the tech sector, from a possible ban of TikTok to policy shifts under a second administration for President Trump. Joining us now, we've got Adam Kovacevic, who is the Chamber of Progress CEO and founder. Adam, great to have you here with us today. So as you think about some of the many changes, especially as it's related to tech, what is at the top of your list of expectations?
Well, I think one of the good pieces of news is that President-elect Trump has appointed a number of people from the tech world, venture capitalists, people with tech experience, to prominent positions. And, look, I didn't support President Trump, but I think that's a good sign. I think there's been a lot of frustration in the tech industry that the Biden administration spent more time trashing the U.S. tech industry rather than championing it. And to have people come in from the industry, I think, is a good thing. This is what President Obama did. And honestly, he had better tech policy and higher ratings on the economy than Biden did. So I think that's a positive with respect to setting a good tone. I also think there's a number of things that the Trump people are going to do when they first come in: unwind the Biden executive order on artificial intelligence, change direction at the SEC on crypto policy. I think those things will be positive for the innovation economy as well.
It's interesting, though, Adam, because Trump seems to almost sort of distinguish and delineate between big tech and little tech. He likes, in his words, little tech. But big tech, he does not have very nice things to say about big tech, Adam. I mean, when he nominated Gail Slater as head of the Justice Department's antitrust division, he just goes off on big tech, that it's run wild for years, it's stifling competition, it's using its market power to crack down on the rights of so many Americans. What do you make of that? I mean, what do you think that could mean in terms of actual policy implications and ramifications?
Well, I think we have to look back to his first term, where I actually think the reality was a little more complicated. There were issues, for example, where he picked fights with the European regulators to help American companies and said, hey, wait a minute, we don't think you should be taxing American tech companies unfairly. We don't think you should be regulating them unfairly. And there were tech CEOs, who I think successfully got Trump on their side in some of those fights. On the other hand, his administration brought antitrust cases against Facebook and against Google. I think the reality, though, is that Trump doesn't particularly care about policy issues like antitrust. What he really cares about is this company nice to me? And I think what he's driven by is, is this a company that's actually helped me? For example, earlier this week, he gave a speech in Arizona and talked about TikTok. And the way he talked about TikTok was he said, well, the TikTok executives came in and showed him a chart about how well Trump had done on TikTok during the campaign. And so therefore, we should keep TikTok around a little bit. It's kind of begins and ends with how he feels the company is treating him personally.
Yeah, sort of kiss the ring moment that we're seeing kind of play out here. And ultimately, we've had a lot of major tech companies try to insulate themselves from any type of directed turmoil towards their company coming from the Oval Office, come the inauguration and anything thereafter from Trump. All these things watched and considered here. We've seen breakout stars emerge in artificial intelligence. How much of a continuation of that do you anticipate, knowing where Trump has also aligned some of his own interests and talked about technology more broadly?
Well, I think you hone on a great point, which is the area of artificial intelligence. Look, the Biden administration, its main approach to artificial intelligence was to say, this is an area where we ought to tread carefully and put up guardrails and focus on safety. Now, of course, safety is in the eye of the beholders. What I think you are going to see with Trump is a pivot from safety to really AI as a economic asset for the United States, a national asset for the United States, where we should go out and beat other countries, particularly China, in AI. And, one of the things I think we see happening, for example, the Chinese government is exploring antitrust cases against NVIDIA. Why? Not because there's a real legitimate antitrust issue there, but because they want to punish us, right, and bring that into a trade war. So I think that it will be a welcome pivot from the industry to see the administration say, no, AI is an industry that we want America to dominate, and an area where we want to, frankly, kick other countries' butts in.
Sticking with AI, Adam, any thoughts on David Sachs, Trump's pick to be AI and crypto czar?
Well, he has, as a venture capitalist, he's invested in a lot of AI companies, right? So I think he's seen from, really like up close perspective, like what it means to start an AI company. And I think that's going to be a valuable perspective. I do think it's helpful to have more of an investor startup perspective coming into the administration, because have not been a lot of people, again, in the Biden world who've like actually started companies and seen that up close. So I think that can't help but be a positive thing.
Adam, great to see you and have you on the show today. Happy holidays.
Thank you.